welcome to Farscape.
A fun-filled Farscape fan cast by a fervent fan.
And a frankly fascinated first-timer.
I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay, and this is the story so far. No, wait, we're doing it wrong again. We're having another hiatus.
That's right, yes. To simulate the experience of watching Farscape live as it aired and enjoying the many unannounced hiati and various scheduling differences between the British and American audiences. Yes, we're taking a break from Season 2 of Farscape just before the end, and we're doing another Greatest Hiatus, and okay, this came together very serendipitously because it's a movie that, Kay, you have referenced before, yes, and that has also been referenced and beloved elsewhere in the podcasting Kakiverse, of which I appear to be the center.
Oh, I'm trying to tell you have podcasts at home, but no, you're not listening.
Today's episode is... Oh, wait, look, Kay, what's that?
Yes?
Is that a wormhole opening in the sky?
Yes, oh my.
My name is Greg, a podcaster. A radiation wave hit and I got shot through a wormhole. Now I'm lost in some distant part of the internet on a podcast, a different podcast, full of strange Dutch friends. Help me. Listen, please. Has anyone seen the film Titan AE? I'm a guest to a fervent fan and a frankly fascinated first-timer. Doing everything I can. I'm just looking for a way home.
Join in, Greg.
Hi, Greg. Welcome to Farscape.
Do you do that every single time?
No.
Only for you. Hey, it is our friend Greg and my co-host for the Star Wars Rebel podcast, Rebel Air. So this sort of came together because both of you have mentioned that Titan AE is a favorite film, and it certainly fits in this beautiful Venn sort of diagram between Farscape and also Star Wars Rebels. It's an animated film. It's about exotic aliens and...
people in space.
Yeah.
Murder, betrayal.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
What else are you going to make a movie about?
Murder being funny.
Well, it is. I mean, I do have some notes about that, actually, in this movie, so...
Yes, but before we dive into the movie itself, which I'm very keen to do, I'd like to take a moment, Greg, hi.
Yes. Hi. Hi.
Thank you for making time in your schedule and being up for what is quite late for you, I suppose.
It's a Friday night. I've got nothing else going on, so...
All right.
Okay, because you're a cool nerd. Is that what you're saying?
What else would I be doing on a Friday night than spending some time with some cool people here?
There we
go.
Thank you. Watching a cool movie together. So Titan AE, it came out in 2000. And Greg, just for clarification, how old were you at the time?
It came out about 2 weeks after my 6th birthday.
Whoa.
Okay.
You were still knee-high to a frog.
So, yes, not quite the target audience at the time. Because you said that the target audience was more like 12 to 18?
Yes, it was Fox Animation's unsuccessful attempt to court a new audience demographic, like the young adult male, sort of in the vein of Star Wars, right? That was the goal, and Don Bluth had been tasked to do that together with his partner. I
wouldn't say he was tasked to do it. He was like clamber to actually get the opportunity to do so, I believe.
Do you know that this film was originally going to be live action?
Oh, well. Yeah. I mean, that would have been a bit of a bigger budget, I assume.
Well, considering that this movie lost $100 million for Fox Animation Studios and it closed 6 days after the premiere date, I'd say that it did probably had a fair budget. Yeah, it's a bit of a tragic film, this.
Every time that I look into it, it's like, oh, right, yeah. I'm sad now.
It is really sad.
It's a good movie. I don't see why it flopped. I guess it just didn't appeal to the right demographic because it's got everything that you want in a movie like this.
I guess it fits in that beautiful Venn diagram of disappointing diehard sci-fi fans because they've seen it before.
Yeah.
Right? It's quite familiar. Valerian, Fifth Element, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Farscape was already on air, that sort of thing. And also
Oh, it's a cartoon. Cartoons were still for kids at the time a little bit, weren't they? Yeah.
And the cool kids who knew better were already getting into anime.
I just remember, the expectations that my family did, because, my brothers were more in the target demographic than I was.
Right.
For me, it was it's kind of cool and kind of edgy, and I just felt like it was a little forbidden because you have some stuff that I wouldn't normally see in a cartoon. So I was like, oh, what's this? What's going on here? But I just remember, kind of picking up on my, on the expectations from my family of, oh, it's not going to be any good because the trailer was fine. was
The trailer
okay.
was okay. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually seen the trailer.
I bet you've seen it 100 times, and just every time you just forgot.
Okay. Well,
The only thing memorable about the trailer is that Creed's Higher plays of the backing song, which got a lot of people interested and then very disappointed that it was. Can you take me higher? Yeah, exactly.
and that wasn't actually in the movie.
Nope. But it sort of set the tone because the movie soundtrack is this glorious, like, turn of the 2000s new metal, like, fad collection.
I was going to say it's a time capsule because you have like a little bit of like every single genre in there. There's a bit of rap that you hear. There's random reggae for some reason. You've got new metal. You've got like kind of
A lot of new
synthy
metal.
pop. A lot of new metal.
A lot of new metal. A lot of emotional male groaning.
This is probably what started me on my path into new metal, if I'm being honest here.
Prepare for starburst!
The movie opens with a beautiful shot of a starry night and a voiceover that goes, "On the clearest of nights, when the winds of the Ethereum were calm and peaceful, the great
it's
merchant..." No?
It's the wrong one. You're thinking of Treasure Planet again.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, we get a voiceover by, a very sexy and charming sounding Ron Perlman.
Once in a great while, mankind unlocks a secret so profound that our future is altered forever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't recognize him when he's actually sort of nuzzling your cinematic ear and whispering sweet nothings into...
Kind of like mouthing the clown's nose on the microphone.
Those are some uncomfortable words. But then it turns out to be not stars, but water that we're looking through, and we're treated to a small child, 5, I think he's supposed to be.
He can't be. He says he's older than 4, so
Yeah, there you go.
it has to be like, which puts him at 20-ish at the rest of the movie. But yes, all right.
Introducing us to this movie's defining feature: 90s haircuts. Everybody has bangs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bouncy, bouncy bangs. Expensive to animate. And also a wonderful... I mean, it's a good look.
Playing with some sort of water toy, which he makes floating around. I suppose it's supposed to be water jets, but like the jets don't seem really strong enough to push that thing up out of the water.
It looks like a top with a spire at the bottom. It actually looks, honestly, quite a bit like the Titan.
Yeah, there's obvious similarities. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he built it together with his dad.
So, Greg, you were about this age when it came out.
I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, right, I was about this. Oh, that's weird to think about. Because I remember looking at this and thinking, like, wow, like this is like someone my age on screen for 5 seconds.
Well, as it turned out, like, did you have a moment of hope? Like, oh, it's going to be a kid's adventure, just like Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I learned so much about taxes.
I remember more of my reaction to seeing Anakin than I do with this, because my memory of this is it comes in waves of like hyper lucidity, and I have no idea what was going on there. I was probably distracted.
Okay, no, that's fair.
I saw through time for a moment.
well, you travel through a wormhole, so maybe that's some relations there.
Yeah, well done, by the way.
So, yes, Earth is under attack by the Drej.
Yes, an alien species made up of blue energy and all these weird angular shapes. I thought they were so cool.
They were amazing.
Their ships move with such purpose and individuality. They have like proper alien knees, which I always care about a lot. Like you know what I mean?
We're going to get to the subject of alien knees later on, but
this isn't Star Trek. Everybody keeps their genitals in the same place in this universe.
But damn knees. But like I said, we'll get to that.
So a young Kale, who is the hero of our film, is picked up by his heroic Ron Perlman voiced dad, who shrouds in mystery the announcement that, hey, the planet is under attack and we have to leave now. We're all evacuating.
Because apparently the Drej have like issue with humans and are going to kill them, and everybody else lets them.
That's apparently how fine we are. There is some alien representation in the form of Tech, a kindly gentleman who rides to the rescue along with Corso.
The kid, he's not all grown up yet.
Both of whom seem employees / friends of Sam Tucker is Kale's dad, who picked him up and drive first Kale off to his escape craft, where Dad tearfully, well, no tears, because this is 2000s and men only groan their emotions.
He's strong for his son. The boy's brave at first, but then when he's actually leaving, decides, no, it's not okay. I don't want you to go. Yeah, that's
really
like a heartbreaking moment.
Kale, here, take this. As long as you wear it, there's hope. I will see you again. I promise.
Okay. No! It's not okay! It's not okay!
Yeah, like that he can be brave for his dad until he's actually being taken away. And yeah, that one actually got to me.
Well, then we learn why the Drej are so afraid of the humans, because they've hidden their ship in a nuclear silo, which is tactically hidden behind a barn, as humans are wont to do. So they've caught onto that, and now they're like, yes, okay, you're hiding it in the underground, under a wheat field, hidden by a barn, so therefore it must be a very dangerous weapon.
And the Drej have a very dangerous weapon of their own, because the mothership appears, and there's this gorgeous like throat singing music in the background. There's sent shivers up my spine.
Okay, this weapon kind of reminded me also a little bit. I think it was one of the Clone Wars when they have this like big thumper thing that they use, but this is of course the energy version of that. Also, slight Death Star connotations here. Big energy beam blowing up planet.
And Independence Day, a bit of that, because you have the guiding targeting laser, and then it comes down. Yeah, this fantastic looking mothership pierces the Earth, projects this energy weapon at it as the escape craft are flying away. These weird sort of pulsing waves crash through the atmosphere, encircling the Earth until it just goes boom.
It starts spinning really fast for some reason,
and
then
that
blows apart. Go on.
It was just, to me, it always looked like it was just kind of making the core go nova or something. It looked like the core was expanding outward. Like it, I've been in love with this like whole sequence since I first saw it. Like I remember seeing this and just like my jaw dropping and just like, what just happened? And then I was sad because like I wasn't sad that the Earth blew up. I was sad that the moon got damaged. I was like, but what about the moon?
Yes. Moon was just minding its own business. The moon wasn't making super weapons.
No, it gets some chunks blown out of it. I guess it's payback for 3.5 billion years ago when the moon hit the Earth, and now the Earth.
Yeah. Oh, this. I mean, let's get into this. This holds up. This whole sequence looks great. The chunks of the Earth impact some of the escape craft. Our heroes, who are in a slightly faster ship, outrun all of the other humans, following the sort of doctrine of, how to escape from a polar bear. Bring a fat friend.
Yeah. I don't think that really works if there's 1 million polar bears.
Well, depends how many.
Friends.
I have several friends of more generous portliness than I am, and they can certainly outrun me and outlive me. So, yeah, I'd be polar bear feed. Titan AE, the title appears. It's a bold kind of title because the AE, if you think about it, stands for After Earth. Which I don't know was ever explained in any of the promotional material.
I don't remember that. You're on your own there.
Wait, what do you mean? I'm on my own in knowing that? What did you think AE stand for?
I mean, I knew it stood for After Earth, but I have no idea when I learned that it must be After Earth.
I think they show a date at the very end.
Right,
that it's
they say
like 3465 or 16 AE.
and then 16.
Yeah,
so
that they say 15 years later.
Yeah, that's actually very good that it goes from AD to AE and then I guess to AB, but we'll get there. God, this wormhole of yours has some weird sort of time properties I'm noticing. Because we skip 15 years and we meet Kale once again, who's got a cool spacesuit and he's standing on top of a derelict spacecraft, sort of like Cal Kestis sawing derelict spacecraft in half.
I appreciate the pandering there.
No, that one was for you. That was just for you to enjoy about the excellent Jedi Fallen Order video game that I really enjoyed.
The music on that one is fantastic.
Oh, yes.
Because they got the Who to do that.
Yes. And for those of you who aren't familiar, not that Who, the other Who.
No, the Who, not the Who.
Yeah, exactly. Who's on first?
That would be the guy with the horse head fiddle.
Which is particularly appropriate because Greg is also an avid cosplayer. And I've got to say, your Cal Kestis is sublime.
I'm very proud of that. That was heartbreaking to work so hard on that. And then, stuff happened.
You can't show it to anybody for 2
conventions.
years. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, and BD1. the trusty little robot that helps Cal Kestis on his adventures. You made an excellent replica of that.
Oh, wow. This little spindly bot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I decided to just go full on crazy, and that's my cat's name too.
Oh.
And he perches on his shoulder. It's perfect.
Oh.
He does.
You'll have to show me pictures sometime. I have not actually seen those.
He's a void boy. He's kind of the antithesis of Her Majesty, your cat, who is sitting beside me having a bath, who is a lady and all white, and actually, transitional material. Just in the way that Beedie is the antithesis of Her Majesty over here, Kale was kind of designed as the antithesis of the Disney princess. Mm-hmm. Because Don Bluth's lifelong feud with Disney, or well, no, certainly not lifelong, but during the run up to the Disney Renaissance, Don Bluth, an ex-Disney animator himself, was a fierce rival with films like The Secret of Nim, which is fantastic. So the idea was to, I guess, do the opposite of a Disney princess, because he's male, and instead of being someone who yearns for a better life, he's actually hopeless. Right?
He's pretty much given up. We learned that pretty early on. We haven't one more Star Wars crossover because he's got like some sort of laser chainsaw or a lightsaber chainsaw.
With which he saws a spaceship in half, and that's his job.
Yep, he's a, what you call it, a shipwright? No, that's when you make them.
A shipwright.
A shipwrecker. Shipwrecker.
No, if a shipwright makes a ship, then a ship wrong breaks it.
Yes, cocky.
Yeah.
And he kicks the front half of the ship away. Like, it's kind of cool how you get a sense of, I mean, in zero gravity, you probably would be able to push.
Yeah, they do it very nicely. He puts his foot against it and he just kind of pushes off against it to slowly start it drifting off, where one of his colleagues can pick it up with a little space scooter and drag it off.
Yeah, asshole bully colleague who buzzes him and knocks him down, whom he repays by firing off his chainsaw laser.
I think this is a great scene because it at the same time shows our hero's relationship to the universe, but also how humans are viewed in general in the universe. So it's done really well. It's like he's clearly at the bottom of the pecking order, as are all humans.
I came at this with the open and honest heart of a child's eyes, but I discovered a rather cynical reading of this film as kind of a human supremacist manifesto.
Oh?
Yeah, so read this through the eyes of human supremacists. We start off with our hero among aliens, clearly showing that if aliens get their run, then humans are at the bottom of the pecking order. That there is only supremacy, that there is no collaboration or cohabitation, which is epitomized by the Drej, who fear humans because of their potential and must therefore be destroyed. Because all of this is about the spacecraft that's capable of producing another Earth-like planet if it has sufficient energy. And this is what the Drej fear.
Which makes no sense, because if they're beings of pure energy, what do they care about another planet being created?
As we found out, it's like the new planet is created by consuming the energy of the Drej.
But that's only because the batteries were depleted. Like, apparently the original Titan should have been able to do it on its own.
So I think that this is essentially what the Drej fear,
right.
That they have seen this program, and they see it as essentially a weapon of mass destruction.
Right. No,
from the perspective of energy beings, anything that consumes that much energy is a threat to them.
I don't know if it was designed to do that, but...
We don't know that it wasn't.
Maybe the Drej are just like stellar cartographers, and they're just like, "Hey, we just worked really hard on this map, and we have to redo it now because of you." Like, come on, guys! Like,
don't go eating
what are you doing here?
Yeah.
If you're going to add a planet, then we're going to have to erase one. So buy Earth. Okay, maybe that's it.
They're aliens. You can't attribute human emotions and motivations to aliens.
No, you can just commit genocide on them, which is how this story resolves.
I don't think that all the Drej were dead. I mean, this was just that one ship. Or was that all the Drej in the universe?
Do we know?
No.
Ooh, I don't think we know.
Right? So, yeah, we sort of discussed beforehand, how are we going to approach this from different angles, because the open and honest heart of a child's eyes, that's Greg, who saw it as a 6-year-old and was forbidden fruit. And Kay and I saw it at a more, I guess, a more sort of appropriate age when we were a little bit cynical enough, as everyone was encouraged to be around 1990.
Yeah, I was going on 30 by the time that movie came out.
In your heart, though, were you 30?
Well, no.
Have you ever crossed 30 in your heart, really?
Oh, well, I certainly don't feel like it.
Right.
Because I'm just like, oh, we're going to do something dangerous. Is there an adult around here? And then like, oh, wait, that's me. It's like...
So I'm going to come at this with, I've actually got a kind of a cynical sort of, there's a dark reading of this. But I'm sure that will all fade away behind the really cool animation because the lunch bell is rung. There's a PA announcing lunch. For some reason, the PA announcement echoes. It's cool in the vacuum of space, I guess.
I mean, maybe it's just feedback over the comm channels.
And all the employees rush back to the employee entrance where they have 1 hour for lunch and they have to stand in line and clock in.
Oh, that's what they were doing. I was like wondering why there's a bloody usher in front of the lunch line. It's like, oh, yes, you can come in. Opens the laser gate, which someone could easily fly over. Next one comes in.
Yeah.
It's like, I suppose, humans have to wait.
Well, of course, because Kale first tried to jump the queue. But
the humans are in a separate line.
Wait, are they?
Yeah, the humans are in a separate line, and he says humans wait. And everybody else gets let in first, and then...
Oh my God.
I have seen this movie so many times, and this was the very first time that I realized those are humans that are sitting there laughing at him.
Same.
I always assumed they were other aliens. Like, for 20 years now, apparently. I thought they were just other aliens that were laughing at him, but...
Just this second, Kay, I've realized this as well. Like,
okay, well, that's clearly what's going on. Like, the humans are being discriminated against.
Guess you're stuck with us losers.
Their helmets are too shiny. That's the problem. That's why we think that Kayla is the only human here. Damn it. Okay, fine. So Kale decides, I'm not one of you losers. These bearded, turns out, humans are laughing at him. Now I understand the laughter a lot more because, okay.
Yeah, same here.
Huh.
Well, and just as a fun little thing, the foreman clocking them in and out is voiced by Jim Cummings. So that's Tondo, or Pete,
amazing.
and so many Disney characters throughout the years. Tigger and Winnie the Pooh, and I think he's like half the cast of Tigger recently, or Winnie the Pooh stuff, like himself.
Jim Cummings is fantastic. Kale decides to skip the queue entirely and fly around the other side of the space station that is apparently the center of this ship wronging facility, saying that the odds of a ship docking are incredibly small. And
1,000,000 to 1 or 1,000 to 1.
And that would be the one. And he bumps against the Valkyrie. I love this ship.
Sees immediately the second hero of the story.
Yep, a blossoming sort of spark of romance between them as he tries to casually brush the window. And Greg, now I understand why you said that you saw overlap between the crew of the Valkyrie and the Ghost, which is the spaceship of Star Wars Rebels, because this is very reminiscent of a scene between Ezra and Sabine.
Yeah, it's kind of a meet cute.
Yeah.
With like threats of violence, because those are some really big shutters that she's trying to close, like on him.
Yeah.
Like that could just remove a hand.
Like church doors, and it snatches up the dishcloth that for some reason he had in his space pocket out in space.
I don't know, in case you have to mop up some space oil or...
wipe your forehead, I guess, just quickly.
Polish the outside of your helmet.
Polish your dome, yeah, okay. I mean...
Well, it's not that kind of movie.
We see inside the ship, now that it's sealed, we're introduced to some of the rest of the crew.
We're locked down, Captain.
All right, keep her hot.
Including Corso, who is basically Han Solo.
Well,
he's a swashbuckler. He's got a cool jacket and a cool sort of chin beard. And
a Hawaiian shirt?
Yes. With sort of diamond pattern. I mean, I guess this is his shore leave shirt.
He's not in the military anymore, so he can dress as any way he likes.
That's right, because he was the sort of employee / driver of Sam Tucker back in the Titan project, who is here to retrieve Kale, who is just having lunch. He's being
Kale, by the looks of it.
He should be lucky. Oh, yes, I had it written down. It was a beetle sashimi. Now, how would that work?
It wasn't actually sashimi. It's sashimi or something. It was like a combination between sashimi and sushi.
Ukrainian beetle sashimi.
That might have just been like a weird accent.
Or a weird thing in the subtitles, maybe.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, because these beetles are apparently these sort of spherical, bouncy, gelatinous balls.
They look like, a little model of a viral cell or something which has been blown up until it's the size of a golf ball. It's got these little globular tentacles or knobs on the outside, and they kind of bounce a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're still alive.
Kale sits down with Tech, the other friend of his father's, who is now blind, played by Tone Loc, the rapper. Yeah.
Okay. I would be lying if I said I'd heard of him, but...
Same. I was hoping that somebody else would be cooler than me and actually remember, oh, Tone Loc, no way.
My knowledge of who Tone Loc is entirely because of Fern Gully. That is literally the only reason I know who Tone Loc is.
Oh.
He
who
was the salamander thing in Fern Gully.
You know, if you'd said Bartok, you would have completely blown my mind. So I'm glad that I'm not that unobservant. Yeah, he complains that he would just like some already dead food.
I just like them to kill my food before they serve it to me.
In the meantime, we have Chekhov's gravity generator.
I thought that was cool. Like this rumbling sort of diesel machine up on the ceiling that craps out. Everybody starts floating. The cucaracha chef de cuisine.
Cucaracha, I like it.
Ketchup? Ketchup. You don't need ketchup, please. Next. Hold on. This is great. Those dirty humans. Ketchup. Boy, some nerve, human. Nice head, human.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what he looks like. And he...
No, the cucaracha.
Oh, wow. Whoa. My pun processing hindbrain preceded me. I didn't quite realize. Yes, the cockroach goes up and fixes it. And yeah, with all the food coming down, he loses his appetite. But the very sort of affable Tech has no such problems.
He was eating while the gravity was out too. He was still just like, gravity's out. I don't care.
Makes spaghetti a lot easier if there's no gravity.
Oh yeah, a lot less risky.
Kale decides to go for a walk, gets set upon by two of his colleagues apparently, who want to teach him a lesson for being uppity.
You pulled a nasty stunt back there.
We don't like your attitude.
You've been a little uppity.
Is that so? Well, I'm gonna have to work on that.
Space bullies, because yes, this is what human supremacists think that aliens are like, and that's why we need a human ethnoplanet to save us from this. Oh, you know what? I can't even do it. I'm just giving up on this cynical reading right now because this is just. I mean, it's a rough workplace, right?
Yeah.
With contractors, this is reality for a lot of people,
Right, but there does seem to be a very specific picking on humans vibe going on at this point in the movie.
I mean, the word uppity has some
Right,
connotations.
yeah.
A fist fight ensues. He doesn't really stand his own. I mean, they are two muscular alien gentlemen.
Yeah, the smallest one's about twice his size.
But Corso steps in with his trusty lasso.
Manages to just like
How?
grab
That's
and
it.
snag him.
I know,
How?
this is, right? I mean, I wonder if the original script was supposed to be a whip. A whip. That would have made more sense, but that's too much Indiana Jones. You know, I love Bill Pullman. He's great in this role. But if they just hired Harrison Ford, like I think they probably wanted, he could have just lampshaded it all.
He tries to talk Cale, yes, into joining him, but he's not having any of it.
So you're gonna tell me you don't want something in return?
Yeah, he's mistrustful. Like the
Very
idea
much
of
so.
just being helped. Like this is the opposite of an I Want song that Disney princesses sing about how they're kind of unhappy with what they currently have. But his is don't want. He has a do not want song.
You want something from me and I'm not giving it to you.
Because he is a...
Maybe that's just why they don't like him. He just plays his new metal too loud.
It is the only way. Akima, back on the ship, played by Drew Barrymore. Lovely role. She informs Corso discreetly that they have fallen in with a bad crowd.
Very discreetly, yes.
Captain, this is Akima. We are not alone.
Are we in good company?
That's a negative, Captain. I think we've fallen in with a very bad crowd.
You can hear her winking over the radio, which is amazing.
Cale goes back to find Tech. Corso shows up.
Tech and Corso know each other.
Yes,
and
much to Cale's surprise.
he's just sort of left in the middle while these two old geezers are catching up. Corso asks, hey, do you still have your father's old ring? Now, if he'd said no, end of movie.
It's one of those things. Yeah, I traded it last week for a sandwich.
This is the start of Cale being hand-handled. It's like manhandling, but it's just his hand.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody likes holding hands with Cale. It's
I'm pretty proud of that one.
I like it.
As you should be.
Handle. This is great. Yeah. After seizing the ring from him, he pulls out some kind of like watchmaker's tool, activates some lasers, which I thought would maybe carve Cale's finger into 4 or 5 slices.
That would be a very poor way to design a ring.
Yeah, because apparently as long as you have this, there's hope, says Dad when he's letting go of his son. And now that it's been activated, apparently it makes his hand glow and show sort of like a compass.
So either Dad already knew where he was going to hit the Titan, or it had some way of like communicating it back to that ring.
I think it's the former. He already designed the treasure map leading to the like these are
what
some
if you can't
wild
get there?
steps of
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, you have to bury it somewhere else.
Yeah, he takes a wrong turn, he can't reach it. This plan is so bizarre. Also, why does it center around a 5-year-old? Why do you entrust this to a 5-year-old and not to literally anyone else?
Yeah, I guess he was planning on coming back for it, or he was planning on not dying in the first place.
He sure did leave an awful lot of messages predicated on...
I mean, that's just good planning, that's good project management to make sure that, like, if something happens to you, that, like, someone else can take over and has all the information that they need.
I mean, it is fair. Like, anyone with that ring stands a nope, the ring is keyed to his DNA. It has to be on his finger, and only his handheld compass will display the way, and that is why the Drej show up.
Again, everybody just kind of lets them.
Yeah.
Nobody goes, like, starts asking questions about why the Drej just start shooting up the place.
This is where we see them as sort of like bipeds walking in with their sort of multi-component legs, and they're glowing in blue, and they move so cool,
like bony, skeleton-y, like there's no musculature on it. It's bizarre and fantastic.
They look a bit like the Tau from Warhammer 40k, I would say. They look a bit robotic almost. Or
almost like these are like exosuits, or is this their actual form? Their head is this sort of hollow tube that you can look inside, and there's blackness in there. So
they are pure energy, apparently. Solid energy in this case, but
is that a construct? Is that them? I have no idea how it works. I just know it's cool.
The same happens with the ships. They're kind of permeable for humans, but only in that one spot.
And they can sink into the floor.
And sometimes they blow up when you shoot at them with a handgun, and sometimes they don't blow up when you shoot at them with a space gun.
Right.
It's like very plot.
Talk about plot
relevant.
armor, yeah.
Very good one. Actual plot armor.
Yeah, exactly. A firefight ensues. Corso saves the day. He blasts the table, kicks it over, and takes cover behind it. Drej weapons are not so impressed by tables, and our heroes.
So then, why duck behind it? If it's going to go right there, it's like that's a point. That's really helpful cover there, Corso. Like, good planning. Good planning.
It's still like denying them line of sight, so they don't know where your head is.
Yeah, and to be honest, Corso's gun also blows two of those Drej straight through a door. So.
Yeah, not that it seems to bother them very much. One of the Drej's arms is blown off, but we see it quickly reform.
Yes, this is where the Chekhov's gravity generator comes into play, because they shoot it to make everybody go floaty. Again, energy creatures also seem to be affected by gravity.
What?
I mean, they go floating off just like anybody else.
Yeah, right?
And we go through a little merry chase through the ductwork of the cafeteria.
Yeah, with our hero yapping along like, oh yeah, they'll never think of looking for us in the vent. They abandon Tech, who pushes Kale away, like, I'll read about you later.
Yes, never to be seen again. We never hear from Tech again in the rest of the movie.
I was only contracted for 2 days' work, dude. So.
Yes, and I've been doing this for 15 years, so someone owes me a lot of back pay.
I was talking about Tone Loc. Like,
no.
This is the end of my contribution to this film.
Yes, they go through the tunnels with the cucaracha.
Who gets shot?
In a very cartoonish way.
Right.
And
it's just so weird.
And then has this like funny little line of bullseye. It's like,
that's what I mean.
That was murder.
Hi, they went right down here. They came in my kitchen and bullseye.
With his mouth. His mouth is left behind in a sort of Tex Avery, Wile E. Coyote moment. Like, this is the most important question that I have for baby Greg when you watch this. How did this read to you as a child? Do you have a memory of this?
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
it was just a cartoon. It was like, oh, haha, it's so funny. And I think at one point, I think like my second or third viewing, because when you're a kid, you just watched it the same movie back to back to just again. I remember it clicked to me one time. I was like, wait, he's dead. And I was like, it's so funny. Like it occurred to me, and I was like, nope, I'm so whatever.
It's because it's coded cartoon.
It's played for a laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he speaks, hey, maybe his species can survive being slimed. like that and
Suppose.
reconstitute. In hot pursuit, the Drej find the vents while Corso and Kale are running from them. They take cover behind some barrels, one of which says "amable."
Yeah. That's a very amable barrel.
But instead of making a gag out of it, Corso notices it, kicks it toward the Drej,
Shoots it, boom.
Yep.
Which causes them to like disintegrate because they can regrow arms, but like flames and flame explosions are apparently deadly to them.
Plot armor, man.
Yeah.
They find themselves a cool vehicle which doesn't quite work, but Kale has an idea and quickly fixes it, hanging onto the exterior. What kind of vehicle do you think that is? Like, is it a loader or like a little shuttle? It has 2 engine pods.
It's got 2 engine pods, but it's also got tracks on the front, or at least what looks like tracks.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
I think it's a tug.
A tug, right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Because it's got huge engines and not much else, so I think it's just a little docking tug to help nudge ships into port.
It's a bit of an unwieldy craft, but Corso is apparently quite a good pilot. Flies this through the interior of the shipwrong station, smashes through glass domes that apparently don't seal in any atmosphere. It's all fine. Continues to be fired upon by the Drej.
Kale gets hit a few times, sustains minor injuries before he can get himself into the cockpit.
Where he bandages his own arm like a tough guy with the bandage between his teeth. It's kind of a cool look. Oh yeah, did we mention that he's wearing a tank top? It's so 90s. He's got a cool tattoo, by the way. It sort of looks like
I noticed that. It's like a sword, but what's the background? Did any of you guys get a good look at that? And
I thought it was like a ship's wheel. I thought compass at first.
Yeah.
But it's got these spokes on the outside, so I still don't know.
It reminds me a little of the Star Trek Mirror Universe.
Yes.
Dagger through Earth type. Like it gives me like that same kind of like vibe.
Whoa.
So there's like, it's a sword or a dagger and then like a planet with a sine wave through it or something like that.
It's wavy, so maybe it's not a ship's wheel.
Yeah.
Don't know.
No, it doesn't seem to have like more than 2 spokes, so that would also make it unlikely to be a ship's wheel.
Well, the ship they're in doesn't seem to have an eject in it either, because they lose the engines and they barreling down a long causeway thing.
Yeah. Launch tube, causeway.
So how do you read this? Okay, so they smash through these doors that are too narrow, lose both their engine pods. Lose is generous, by the way.
Yeah.
Screech to the end of this causeway, about to crash. Corso asks, does this model have an eject? And Kale sort of doesn't say anything. Was Kale messing with him?
Eject. Hey, where's the eject? Kale.
Yes, I'd say that the pod that they go shooting off, which is clearly the cockpit, and I think it's one of those ejection mechanisms where the entire cockpit just gets thrown out.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense.
I mean, in space, that's how you want to do it,
yeah,
right?
they use that in a few high-velocity, high-altitude aircraft as well, where they just basically throw the entire cockpit out.
Whoa.
Yeah, so looking through this again, there is like, it's there for maybe 2 frames where it does look like it pops up.
Yeah, like it's attaching. So Kale was just messing with him and letting him think that they were going to die until he flips the eject switch at the last second.
Or he didn't know and the ship just was smart enough to do it, which is unlikely.
But even though they're thrown clear of the explosion, the canopy has still taken some damage. It shows some cracks. And we have a hard vacuum transfer. I am so excited whenever these happen. I'm just sitting there on tenterhooks. Now get it right. Get it right.
Yeah,
because
exhale. And
yes, that's right.
Exhale. You gotta be kidding. Exhale. Oh, no.
Kicks the windshield out in like proper escape from a car in the water style.
Corso holds Kale in one arm and a fire extinguisher in the other and blasts his way toward the waiting docking bay of the Valkyrie. Wow.
Every angle the ship is shown from, I just love. This is still just one of my favorite ship designs, and I feel like I can't like mention it ever without like, let me sit you down and like talk to you about Titan AE and rant obsessively for a while just to understand this ship.
Yeah, because she's long and she's got her engines way at the back. So she's got a strange center of gravity, but she moves like she's supposed to. She's constantly like skating and turning, and then those engines
and those little fold-out canards that she has.
Oh, do they fold out?
Yeah, you can see them when they're
when
coming in for docking. They pull them in, so they're
what are
retractable.
They for? Yeah, right.
Maybe they're like thruster pods. You'd want those to be them as far away from the center of gravity as you'd like to get maximum effect out of them.
Oh,
so that makes sense.
Look at you, Mr. Kerbal Space Program taught me everything I know about orbital mechanics. Safely inside, they're knocked against the wall. The Valkyrie blasts off, showing a really cool sort of
hyperspace,
like
whatever.
These sparks flying in toward the engine, then the engine flies off. Like, who knows?
I noticed that there's nothing in this movie about FTL. I mean, it just is. They don't say anything. They said nobody ever says, let's go to FTL or jump to FTL.
There's no hyper nothing. There's no jumping.
Exactly.
It's go.
It's just completely left in the middle of what is going on or how it even works. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Because it's not important.
The only thing that we get is distances. By the time that Kale wakes up, they are 3 million keks away from Tau Station, which is the ship-wronging facility. And then they're 13,000 keks away from their next destination.
Yeah. And this is, I think, your favorite scene in the whole movie, isn't it, Kaki?
Yeah. So let's slow it way down. I mean, I was 19 when this movie came out and just blossoming into the gay young man that I was at the time, comfortable in my sexuality, and then Kale wakes up.
Why am I naked?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not unusual to be naked when you're on a doctor's table, but...
I mean, if this was my fan fiction, I could answer that question for you, Kale. He blinks up, and Akima is there, the sort of Asian-presenting face of the character voiced by Drew Barrymore. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
And he's like, is this an angel? It's like, wake angel is like, come aboard.
He's in the sickbay of the Valkyrie, where he's lifted up by some kind of laser grid field that flips him around. The towel falls off. Yes! Yes! The first unnecessary nudity, and it's a dude.
Fortunately, Akima is strategically placed, so you don't even get a glimpse of his buttocks.
Yeah, you do. You slow it way down, as I may have done several times. You get it. No, I mean, he's a good-looking young man. It's a cool scene. I like that everyone there is sort of comfortable with it. Obviously, it's an uncomfortable position for Kale to be in, but he is undergoing medical treatment. His arm is being repaired by Kima, and presumably, like, he's also had some treatment for vacuum exposure.
Yeah. The Arkinian crew member is, meanwhile...
I'm an Ukrainian.
...insinuating himself in the conversation.
Hello.
Yeah, Preed, who... played by Nathan Lane, in the way that Kale is like an anti-Disney princess, Preed is anti-Timon. He's extremely well-spoken. He's quite flirtatious.
Akima, my pet, if the boy isn't at death's door, Corso wants Goon to check the map so we can set a course. Do you mind? Are we through pawing? This is the Valkyrie, not a singles bar.
For someone who says, like, this is a starship, not a singles bar, he's the one who is, like, constantly making innuendo and other sexual remarks.
If we're done pawing, Kale gets handhandled again. Speaking of paws.
We have a magical rotating towel. I mean, she drapes the towel over him, and then when he's rotated around by the force field, the towel just kind of stays in the same place without actually rotating with him, as you would expect.
You know, in certain circumstances, I can get up and the towel also stays in the same place. So, I guess he's got a certain response to being close to this young woman.
I mean, that would increase the rotation potential.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
I mean, that would kind of like that would be like kind of like a cog sticking out there and helping. I said a cog.
It doesn't help. Kay, you're so good at this.
Thank you. Now, I think your theory comes into play when he finally gets thrown onto the ground and the towel, again, mysteriously maintains its position before he manages to wrap it around his waist. So I think we're not too far from the truth here.
Hey, you've got Kerbal Space Program. I've got certain other resources that taught me about physics. Oof. Okay, so now that we're done pawing, as Preed recommends, Preed looks cool, by the way. He looks like a proper Don Bluth creature, right?
He's sort of totally.
A little bit of
kind of
talk,
dinosaur-ish with the horn on the tip of his nose.
He's more bat-like.
Both, right? And he's got the extended muzzle like Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah,
right?
And he's got these little gills under his arms or whatever it is, little winglets under his armpits.
Yeah, he's got webbing under his arms. He's very skinny. He's wearing cool boots. Envious of those boots. Lovely physicality to him. They go out into the hallway and they meet Janine Garofalo.
No. cannot talk. We lost targeting on one of our aft gun turrets.
I was going to promise you that we were going to come back to the subject of knees.
Yes! She is a well-endowed lady when it comes to
legs.
Knees. Like, sort of a kangaroo drawn from memory by someone who's never really paid attention to kangaroos, I think.
Yes.
They've got big legs.
I mean, they're digitigrade and then like got an extra set of knees and they kind of like just bend around. It's like they've got 2 sets of forward bending and then 1 set of back bending knees, and she walks on her toes. Like,
what are they all for?
I mean, I want to see her thigh master.
Now, I did explore the sort of fan art of this film, of which there's quite a lot, and it goes some places. So,
oh no.
I mean, Kay, if that's something you want, I can hook you up. I know some websites, I know formerly password-protected Tumblrs that can get you what you need. She is the sort of weapons expert and mechanic, although she complains, I'm educated, I'm well-read, I'm not a mechanic. Throwing her tools around, she's grumpy. Janine Garofalo, fantastic.
She is very grumpy, yes.
And on to the next alien, the last member of the crew that we haven't been introduced to yet. John Leguizamo plays Goon.
Does
this look familiar? Do you know what it is? Neither do I. I made it last night in my sleep. Apparently I used Kindrogak. Highly unstable.
Oh, and he's fantastic.
He's kind of like a turtle Yoda type character, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. His eyes are sort of like bike headlights.
Yeah, that's due to his glasses.
And the shape of his head as well. He's got these glasses on the front and there, and these sort of pods on the side of his little head. He's got a brown sort of lab coat. He's been trying to get the map working again, which Kale wanders over and just casually fixes, much to Goon's delight.
Pushes a few buttons.
Then he gets hand-handled again and hand-licked as well.
Yeah.
A little bit of leftover lunch is mistaken for a star system, but fortunately that doesn't let them get too distracted or too far off course.
Yes! This is Plachta! And this is Solbrecht. And this. What is this?
That's lunch.
Oh, it's lunch. Spaghetti derivative, meatballs, sort of anyway, and Kaldor droppings. Who ate it before you did?
Corso walks in, who has exchanged his Space Hawaiian shirt for a cool athletic t-shirt.
I really like this shirt. I hate to say, I'm looking at it, it's like, oh no, I like this too much.
No apologies. It's a great t-shirt with a white stripe along the shoulders.
It's a bit like a baseball shirt, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Those are A shirts, aren't they?
I was hoping that our American friend would be able to enlighten us on the subject of sportswear.
Aren't baseball shirts like the 3/4 like sleeve stuff?
Oh, maybe. Oh. And these are fairly short sleeves.
The most I know about baseball is from that one episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine with the Vulcan baseball team.
Oh, come on, have you never seen The Sandlot?
The what?
Never mind that.
The Sandlot. Yeah, I got you. I was about to say, like, most of my knowledge of baseball is because of, like, The Sandlot and Angels in the Outfield and Field of Dreams and all the, like, 90s baseball movies that I watched a lot.
Oh, guys.
That's why I know. That's why I know baseball at all. Is because of movies.
No, but this is great. Hey, now you have something to sort of gang up on me with. You have something for you to get.
We can make up stupid baseball facts for you and confuse you even more. Yes, let's go. Don't do that.
See, when we started this, I was worried that I'd be like a parent of a blended family introducing 2 stepbrothers to each other. Like, hey, I really need you to make friends.
Course is set for the broken moon of
Sesharim.
Sesharim, that was the name. Yes. And meanwhile...
I really like it.
It's a laugh of appreciation. Okay. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing in appreciation of you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go with that.
I'll take it.
While they're in hyperspace, Cole and Kale are sharing a green drink. It's always green, isn't it?
Yeah.
Space drinks are green.
They have their legs up on the table in front of a window that is facing aft, which I thought was cool. Like, you see the stars vanishing behind them.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often. There's kind of a cynical moment where Kale is roused once again by your inspiring speech.
Well, if I don't like the way things are going, I'll show you how much like my father I really am. I'll leave.
They arrive at the broken moon of Sesharim, and for a second I thought, wait, is this Earth?
Oh, that I can see that.
The moon sort of looks like Earth's moon. It has a big old crack in it, but it's not the broken moon that we're going to. We're going to Sesharim.
Okay, so I'm going to have to step in here a little bit, because a broken moon like that does not work, would not work for real.
All right.
Because the whole concept of a moon is like, if it's big enough to be a moon, then it's big enough to collapse under its own gravity. So it would never have like a big crack running all the way to its center. That's like not possible for planets.
Really? You can have the heavenly bodies made out of anything, out of iron. I guess iron's pliant.
Yes.
What if it's a carbon crystal diamond moon?
Yeah, still the same thing. You have gravitational forces. It like that's the whole point. That's why planets are round. They collapse in on it themselves. It's gravity that pulls them into a round shape, so it would never have a big crack running through it like that.
Well, maybe it's a recent excavation.
Even if that's the size of like Phobos or Deimos, it would still be a ginormous crack.
I'm just going to agree with Kay here, because I did not do very well in physics. So, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, sure.
Kay, we have an arbiter. This is great. You can be the judge or whatever they have in, the ball judge from baseball. What are they called? Emperors.
Umpire.
No, there's the one. Thanks.
Sorry, Empire. You're getting confused with other things, Cocky.
That took me way too long to come up with that.
Yeah, you're the bowlsman here. Speaking of bowls, we arrive. Yeah, we do segues on this podcast. Speaking of,
wow, you called out here. Yeah, we
your segues are great.
All right, yes, the broken
giant hydrogen balls.
Yes, hydrogen trees.
This has to smell awful.
Why? That was my question.
Yeah, hydrogen doesn't smell.
It's odorless.
They have to land on a reef, even though that's not the place where they want to go. They want to go to some sort of like archway that's just coming out of the water in the middle of the hydrogen trees.
They somehow have a boat.
Yep, which we later learn can also fly, so why the fuck they... Well, never mind that.
All of this...
Plot armor.
Goon and Preed are left behind to guard the ship while they sail through... It looks really cool. These sort of veiny, vine-encrusted bubbles that are apparently filled with hydrogen and therefore extremely dangerous. It is just gorgeous, this whole sequence. They arrive on this island with these spires, which they somehow know is where they need to go. Oh, it's the compass, right?
Right, I think so. The compass is leading them there. And the moment they get there and they're wondering what happened to the ghoul... No, what are they called again?
The Gowl.
The Gowl, that's the one,
so
yeah.
G-A-U-O-L, Gowl. Which is sort of like jail, I guess.
Yes. Isn't that an actual word for jail?
Mm-hmm. Or at least that was the original spelling.
Right. And it turns out like lots of bat-type aliens start showing up.
Yeah.
Flapping around. And I'm going like, oh yeah, this is the cool part where they like wrap their wings around them and they dissolve into a jelly and bones. But then I remember that's from Beastmaster.
What? Dissolve into...
Have you never not seen Beastmaster?
Apparently not.
Okay, so it's like another movie with a hunk with his shirt off all the time, and he's got some animal companions. And at one point, he comes to a bunch of creatures which are bat-like creatures as well. And he manages to talk them out of it because he's got this symbol which apparently identifies him as the Beastmaster. And later they got summoned to come help them in the big fight. And the way these creatures fight is they basically walk up to someone, they wrap their wings around them. Whoa. Then there's like a little bit of shaking and a little bit of wet noises. And when they open their wings again, you see this big puddle of slime and bones come falling out. And that's how they...
I think I may have seen that on one of those password-protected tumblers that I was exploring. So initially, Corso has everybody level their weapons at them because they think that these creatures are responsible for the extermination of the planet, which they find oddly empty, despite having only explored 1 square kilometer. But that's apparently all you need.
That's what you have in planets.
I mean, on Farscape that happened as well. Like they want to search a planet, they go check 1 bar.
Yes. No, he's not here.
Not here. No, a Sebation, a Luxon, and another Sebation. But it's Akima who goes, wait, hold on, no, don't shoot. What if these are the sashimis?
Yes.
And they're so cool.
The Gowl, you mean?
They land and they stand tall. Their wings sort of folded over like cloaks. They surround our heroes in sort of ominous but dignified stature. And one of them comes forward, like a high priest, a leader.
Yeah.
They have a cool headpiece and a sort of a collar. And this person walks up to Kale. Handles him a little bit, sees that...
Yeah, there's a little bit of confusion before Kale catches on that he's expected to hold his hand up in the same way that this dude's doing.
Yeah, because they sort of reach up to the sky and hold their hand up and like, beautiful pose. And he goes, oh, cool.
The map lights up, and now it
moon?
points to the Crab Nebula, or whatever the something or the other nebula.
Oh, Greg, did you catch it?
The Andali Nebula.
Andali Nebula. Ooh.
See, Greg is really good at the notes. He really pays attention to this stuff. It's so cool. Yeah.
Or I copy and paste things. It could be that too.
Never let him see you sweat.
Kale has a little moment there when he realizes that, oh, my father must have been standing there.
Why?
Yeah, because,
Right.
well, that's how the map works, apparently.
No, I know, but like, why? Why go here, which is not where the thing is?
Well, that's how maps work. Like, maps, you start where not the thing is, and then you give them route instructions to where the thing is.
You misunderstand. Why would I have a map that sends you to Australia so that you can read the map that leads you to Angkor Wat or wherever you're going?
Oh, I see what you mean.
If the Drej are willing to commit genocide and destroy a planet for this, like, they're going to be willing to do just about anything. So I think it's just trying to obfuscate as much as possible.
By endangering another planet?
Well, yes.
So So I'm trying to hide my super weapon, my genocidal super weapon, from planet-destroying aliens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my allies and I'm going to endanger their planet by including them for no reason in my treasure hunt.
I'm basically just sitting here, just like picking up Reese's pieces of like your cynicism, of like your human first cynicism here, because every once in a while it's like, oh yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah,
I mean, I can imagine that it works because at this point, with the ring being genetically coded to Kale, means that you'd have to have control over him for a prolonged period. You can't just like get one reading of it and then have all the information you need.
Oh,
so it's like more like multi-factor authentication. Like you can't just like.
Yeah, you have to keep him alive for the entire journey.
Well, I was about to ask, what if they just cut off his hand? Would that still work?
Maybe.
I don't know.
It didn't occur to them.
But maybe they think he's like the cucaracha, and it'll just
regrow. Yes,
he'll just be sassy as a pile of goo. But yeah, the Drej have now shown up unexpectedly. But the gallant Gowl, immediately rush into action to save our heroes.
Yes, and instead of flying them straight back to the ship, no, they fly them to the boat.
I mean, considering how heroic these Gowl are being, like, I assume that they have a decent idea what to do. Because first, they snatch our heroes up in their hind claws and fly in beautiful formations. Then they start flying low through the hydrogen trees, cutting them loose, which float up and crash into some of these ships, taking them out. Like, I think their first priority is to keep our heroes safe and take out as many of these craft as they can. It is a fantastic sequence.
It is. Lots of blowing up things, close calls, people actually standing on ships, getting like picked up again.
Kay, you're great at describing sex scenes with interesting terminology.
I was just a little bit I wouldn't say it looked good, but I'm just sitting there like watching it going like, okay, yeah, we need a little bit more excitement. And I had the same kind of like cynical attitude with the whole, first we're going to like bring them to the boat, because then we can have a cool flying scene between the hydrogen trees. And then they're at the boat, so then we can have another cool scene with them going through the hydrogen trees on the boat.
Yeah.
And it felt a little bit like, okay, we have to milk this for a while.
Well, I mean, that's sort of the flip side of adventure.
I know,
right? I mean, I get it. I'm not invalidating this perspective, but with these adventure films, doesn't the whole plot exist to justify set pieces like this?
I suppose, but I just kind of felt it like much more at this moment.
Greg, Empire Greg.
Umpire Greg.
Ball judge.
I mean, like this. I mean, this whole sequence to me is. I mean, it's hard. I can't be impartial here because, like, I just remember this sequence so well from like when I was a kid, and it was like, okay, like yes, like it is going on too long, and it's kind of convoluted, and just like one cool thing to one cool thing to one cool thing, but at the same time, it's like, but. Like,
all the cool things.
It's all really cool, right?
They introduce like, okay, they have tractor beam stuff, and they can like, and organic matter phases through, so they're like kind of setting stuff up a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
that was true.
And I just absolutely love just the visual of just the Drej ship flying under the water and then like coming and picking it. Like I love that. I love that so much.
So many Gowl give their lives to protect our heroes.
Yeah.
They get shot out of the air. Akima falls down. Two of them swoop down. One of them just to push her out of the way from one of these hydrogen bubbles, which they themselves fall onto and die, so that the next one can catch them. Like they're like bothans. Many Gaul died to bring us these weirdos.
I just want to know, like, why they're so willing to, because it's beyond just like helping them get out of there. It's like they're going out of their ways in at times. Like, I kind of don't. Yeah,
I mean,
I was thinking the same thing.
Ancient race, and who knows what the motivations of ancient races are. Maybe they just like have an old grudge with the Drej.
Huh?
Maybe the Drej broke their moon.
Good point. They're all incredibly helpful and never thanked. Never for a moment does anyone sort of reflect on how many Gaul perished to save them. Absolutely doesn't occur to them.
Because meanwhile, at the Valkyrie, our little Yoda character is completely distracted by his own invention, and the Arcanian
I'm an Acrenian.
is basically taking, in this very hydrogen flammable environment, is taking pot shots at a grasshopper.
Yeah, who eludes him, even taunting him, so he brings out a mounted cannon.
No, that was out there at the beginning already. He was like standing guard there.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't just an escalation
No,
of
he
force.
just starts to just like use his point defense cannon to just shoot at the local wildlife.
Quick little devil.
But despite everyone's, I won't say best efforts, but efforts are being made, certainly. Akima and Kale are captured. They're snatched up by one of these craft, leaving the crew of the Valkyrie to lick their wounds and go in pursuit. And they can follow a tracker that apparently Akima has. That's going to be their only clue.
Yes, we get to see the inside of the Skeksis palace. Oh, sorry, the Drej palace.
Yes, you're right. It does sort of feel like the whatever the castle is in the Dark Crystal, but everything's sort of wibbly wobbly, and because it's all made out of energy, man. So all the surfaces sort of look like a Windows 95 screensaver.
Akima gets put in a pod and ejected because we don't need her.
They're brought before the Hive Queen. The ship lands on a landing platform and then sinks into the platform, and all that remains is
the passengers.
Cool.
Yes.
So, was the ship on autopilot? Is it just being dissolved? What is this
We
stuff?
don't know. I mean, it could be that, like, if they are energy beings and they can, like, maybe manifest in different forms, and one of them is a ship. It's kind of like the Cylons, you know. You can have the walking models and you have the ship models.
Ooh,
except these guys can transition.
The fact that you have some parts where it doesn't look like it has like the energy effect on it, so it looks like it is just like a physical thing on there, and then you have some parts where it is like the cell that the cell that Kale gets put in, like that doesn't look like it has any form, like it is just pure energy. It is this weird like in between of like construct and the energy.
Yeah,
I don't understand. I want to know more.
They are beings of pure. They are beings of pure energy. We cannot comprehend them.
Energy with which they can do a lot. So they jettison Akima and they snatch Kale up in this force field, drag him over to this electrical field generator. They zap him. It's stunning. You have no idea what's happening until they fire a laser through his hand. Once again, getting handled, and he's like the crystal in the medallion in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, it shines right through and projects.
Take back one cadam for the human child.
And it shows them exactly what it showed Kale earlier down below on the planet, that they have to go to the nebula.
Which, that's not how, like, celestial bodies work, unless they're, like, the exact same.
It also has to be at the exact right time of day, because otherwise the right piece of the sky wouldn't be in that spot.
Assuming it rotates.
Most planets do.
Hey, Kerbal Space Program is a valuable educational resource. But yeah, in the same way that like the constellations that we know on our planet would not necessarily look the same on a planet on the other side of the galaxy. Although some would. There are constellations that are only galaxies.
They're so far away that they would still look more or less the same. Yes.
From anywhere in our galaxy.
So after he gets his hand read, his palm read, I suppose, he gets dropped in jail, and we go to the trade ship Boros.
He has two things. It's Soros.
Soros? Oh, okay.
And he has an absolute conniption because he's been imprisoned, handled, electrocuted. He's been separated from the girl he's interested in, and he has a full-on like Kevin Bacon Footloose moment, smacking himself around, expressing himself through dance.
See, I have a slightly different take on this because, like, the whole time you have this, like, kind of awful, like, scratching noise, and it sounds, and he's covering his ears. It sounds like it could just be like to me, because like the sound of styrofoam just destroys me from the inside. That is my kryptonite. He could just be not happy with the noises they're making, just like trying to block it out. That maybe that's why he's going insane there.
Yeah, no, you're right. He probably doesn't have the emotional range to actually care about Akima.
I mean, he's only 19 or 20 at this point, so...
But if he listens to that much nu metal, shouldn't this be like his jam? That sort of electrical hum is kind of a part of...
Well, it was a thought.
A thought was had. Yes, the Soros, which is some kind of like a trading ship.
Yes, it's like a commerce planet or something.
Oh, yes, very good.
Akima's pod has been apparently picked up with the rest of the trash and is being pawed over by various people trying to lay claim to it, while the rest of the crew of the Valkyrie is trying to find her and talk their way in and rescue her.
Yeah, they're going in undercover. Corso is sort of dressed like a decrepit monk. Stith.
She of the many knees.
She of the many knees. Preed has what looks like a Legionnaire's hat.
I was going to say Foreign Legion or something. That's, yeah.
It's a sort of squarish cap with a kerchief hanging down the back. It's a great look. And they walk up to this guard where Preed says that he's looking for a new slave because this one is all used up, and he kicks Corso, and he doesn't want to wait for the auction because he's having his ear shaved, which has to be booked months in advance, you understand.
The guard, however, sees cleared through him.
You're lying. He's not a slave and you're not traitors.
But
he doesn't carry himself like a slave. Look at the way he stands. Probably ex-military. Ukrainian traders always threaten before they ask a favor. It's tradition. And your robes are made out of bedspread.
An intelligent guard, like he just relentlessly intelligent. That's a surprise.
Unfortunately, not very much resilient to getting beat up by the crew. So yes, they go to Plan B.
Just out of curiosity, did we have a Plan B?
Which is just beat up the guard. This is just any role-playing game.
As soon as one of them fails their charisma check.
The rogue fails his bluff check and they go to Plan B, which is like beat up the guard.
As the usual rogue in my party, I feel called out here.
Back on the Drej ship, apparently Cale has sort of relaxed a little bit, but because he is a clever engineer boy, he realizes something peculiar about the hard energy, and he does the sort of... I mean, okay, Hansje Brinker, that's the name of the little Dutch boy with his finger in the dike, a story that I never heard until I met Americans, because it's an American book. It just happens to be about a Dutch boy. It is not a Dutch story. But yeah, he starts fingering this energy, which sparks him off, but there's an unusual effect when he touches two fingers.
He's pinching to zoom out of prison.
Yes. I mean, what I think is like, we have an energy field, so there's different potential at different places. So if he grounds them at those two places and he can then bring them together, he creates a weakness in the energy field and he can like pull it open.
That's perfect. That's exactly it. That's what he does. And then he gives it a two-fingered shocker and penetrates the... What?
Yes.
This is the sparkles. So, you get... when you finger something with two fingers, you get different effects sometimes.
I'm sure you do.
I mean, what happens when you put your whole hand through it?
Well. At first, there is some resistance, but a second application with more determination, and he succeeds in...
allows for a dilation of the field big enough for him to crawl through.
Plunges himself through in a manner that I also recognize from those password-protected Tumblr sites that I will not show to you, Greg. You're too young. And he tugs his leg through just in time to throw himself to the floor out of view of the passing Drej soldiers. And he's out! Similarly, Akima is revealed to be out. Corso finds the cell where she's being kept, surrounded by a pile of sleeping people huddled together. But she is king of the castle.
She seems to have beat them all up.
Yeah, this was kind of cool.
Well, if it isn't the captain, what kept you?
Like, she knows how to handle herself. She's a colony kid. A bit of plot that we haven't mentioned at all.
Yes.
So there are drifter colonies of humans, communities of apparently welded together refugee ships, and that's one of those places where Akima grew up.
Yes, Cale is trying to escape the Drej. He hears that they have found the location of the Titan and they're going to destroy the human race.
Yeah. Does he understand Drej? Because it's
Apparently
subtitled
so.
for us,
Yeah.
but...
Apparently so. I mean, everybody acts all the time like they understand Drej. Whenever
But he's
there's...
the only one who... Oh, no, that's true. Corso can understand Drej. Yeah.
He manages to kidnap one of the ships. So here we go. Like, apparently the ships are not like people. It's like they are pilotable by humans.
Craft. I mean, he finger blasts his way through multiple walls and finally penetrates this. The ship gets sucked inside, and he sort of handles the electrical controls and manages to fly off after a departing patrol and then veer off. They apparently don't really have like space traffic control on the Drej mothership.
No, they just like one of these guys goes the other way. The people on the Valkyrie immediately go to battle stations when they see a Drej ship, but Kale manages to like send the same number sequence that I think he used to fix the map.
Yeah,
Yes.
which Goon recognizes, thankfully, just in time before Janine Stith. Remember those names, Kaki. Takes them out.
But she still takes an extra shot, though.
Stiff, hold your fire!
Whoops.
At least I missed him.
How does he come on board?
He lands the ship in the docking bay or in the cargo bay.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's a happy reunion, first with Akima, who jumps into his arms, and they have a cool sort of hug where they, well, that's comfortable. They have a few more interactions with the rest of the crew. It's a nice little reunion.
Corso tells Kale that Goo needs a hand. Here we go again with the joke. Yes.
Yeah. This was the really bad one. His fingers are being bent like backwards, and I was looking at that and just like, ow, no, I've been there.
I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, I can show you. Like, some people have flexible hands.
I am surrounded by very visual podcasters. This is...
It is one thing to like bend your own like fingers backwards. It's another to have like someone just like forcefully like bending them backwards and like dragging you around by it. Like that.
True.
I now have two co-hosts who are showing the bendability of their fingers to each other.
I can bend my fingers back about 90 degrees. So
that
it's
is horrifying, Kay. That is really creepy.
So it's not. I'm just saying it's not that bad.
Stith has too many knees. Do you have too many? Oh, wait. I think Preed has a line about that.
The distal phalangeal meridian.
And I don't think that's a space thing. I think that's a hand thing because you're...
That was a hand thing. I caught it this time too. I was like, oh wait, flange. Like, I know, I found a new joke. I'm learning.
Yeah, well done. We get another really cool sequence.
Yes, where you have to go to the ice rings of Titan. No, it wasn't Titan, but ice rings of something or the other.
Greg.
It's Ty something. One second.
Tigrin.
It's
Tigrin.
Oh,
Tigrin. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah!
We go to
I got one. I'm very proud of myself now.
And yes, we get the famous scene where they're flying between two layers of dust clouds, being chased by wake angels, as they're called.
Yeah, because he goes up to the bridge, and it's a real nice bonding moment with Corso, who lets him drive and shows great confidence in him. Open him up.
Yes, he gets to take out the convertible and.
This is also known as just like Greg just mouthing the words to the song and just kind of like if I had a lighter, I'd just be like holding the lighter up and like swaying back and forth with it.
No, it's a fantastic scene. Little cruising around in the car, and they're flying between these pillars.
Oh, pillars of like
stardust, clouds.
Plasma.
Yeah.
I don't understand what this is.
Because they look like the Badlands.
Because they kind of break
Star
apart
Trek.
whenever someone touches them. They kind of like start catch on fire and then disappear.
Like it's a whole field of like little sort of dust tornado. Oh no, what are they called? You have a better word for dust storms, Greg? You talk
haboob.
Yeah, it's a fun word to say. I think it's an Arabic word. It's fantastic.
Yeah, which we had one last week.
Oh, oof. You okay?
I just clean up stuff, but that's fine.
So yes, this was the obligatory musical number in the middle of the movie.
And they're being chased by these benign creatures. Yes, these wake angels, these sort of energy manta rays. Yeah, that like to. They're sort of like dolphins who like to play in the wake of ships because it's fun.
Yeah, you get a little push from them, and you can just like play around in it.
Yeah, they just have fun there, and it's a really fun sequence. Which I wonder if that sort of feels a little bit sour to the animators of Fox Animation Studios, because about 10 months before the studio shut down, I mean, this would have been, I think, still during the production of Titan AE, 300 of the staff were fired.
Oh.
So that films could be made more efficiently, and this whole sequence was outsourced.
Oh.
Yeah, I think was this one done by Blue Sky? Because I think that one of these was done by Blue Sky, who then went on to do like Ice Age and stuff.
I mean, it looks great, right? It looks absolutely, absolutely fantastic.
The energy pulses when he's going through stuff, and then these space dolphins have this nice like little spiral dance number with them. So they're saying so long and thanks for just disabling our ecosystem.
So long and thanks for all the plasma. Hey, this is where I noticed, by the way, that a change has occurred. Because in the very beginning of the film, the frame rate of the CGI was particularly low. It was really noticeable in the opening sequence. The animation and the CGI both were extremely choppy. And for animation, like you can sort of squint past that because it's quite normal for the number of frames to drop at certain segments in an animated film. But for the CGI, it felt so weird. But here, it's it looks like a full 24. The animation is smooth and gorgeous. Kale has a bit of a trauma nightmare.
Yeah, his room gets invaded by the Drej, and it turns out to only be a dream, fortunately, because they've arrived at drifter colony New Bangkok.
Yes, I really like New Bangkok.
You can see basically the Death Star in New Bangkok. It's like a sphere with a smaller sphere inside of it. It's slightly above the hemisphere. Yeah, it's the Death Star.
Oh, wow.
It
totally is.
Imagine why, like, 6-year-old me would see that and, like, never forget that ever.
Right. That was a question. Did you see this before or after you saw Star Wars?
This definitely would have been after, because I don't remember a time when I wasn't, like, aware of Star Wars. I remember watching this for the first time. I don't remember life before Star Wars for me.
Wow.
Kale goes into perv a little bit on Akima, who steps into the changing shower or something. I'm not quite sure how that works.
Something like that. She gets dressed. Yeah. Okay, so because he walks in on her while she's toweling down, all of my attempts to find the
towel scene were this one. Yes.
Yeah, they were. No, that's not the one. It's the other one with the magical towel that auto rotates and twists around his cog.
Because apparently they're going to trade foodstuffs. They're going to trade more of the green goo liquid or whatever it is for more Earth artifacts. She seems to be an avid collector.
And frozen burritos, which, I could so go for a burrito.
Frozen burritos require a microwave, which I don't have.
But otherwise, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, we can just make. Why don't we just make fresh burritos? I mean, they're probably better than frozen.
Oh
burritos.
No, that's great. We can just freeze those later. Yeah, no, fine. But
are you sure you're not a coyote?
I plead the Sith, as my co-host is want to say on Rebel Air, but we don't get to enjoy this camaraderie because they overhear a loud conspiratorial conversation between, like, shut the door at the very least, or go into the garden of betrayal when you're going to call up the Drej Queen and chew them out for
trying to go behind her back. Yeah,
we had a deal, right? How dare you try to cut me out like that?
Because Corso apparently had a deal with the Drej to find and deliver Kale, and the Drej apparently tried to jump the gun by seizing him on Sesharim.
And the Drej are like, we will destroy the humans any way we see fit. You know, we don't care about our deal as long as we destroy the humans. And this is like apparently still not telling Corso that the deal might not be that good for him.
Yeah.
He's one of those old humans which are going to be destroyed.
There is something that I noticed here for the first time, because when Corso and Kale were having a drink beforehand, and it was like, I'll show you how much like my father I am, I'll leave. Like, you have light from like a fish tank kind of shining on through like this whole time. Corso's having this meeting at the exact same table, like in his quarters. So this is like, he's making the deal with like both of them in the same place, which is just like a nice little bit
interesting
of
touch.
That is cool. Good eye, Greg.
I notice things when I'm 6 inches away from my screen.
No, but this is fantastic. And now things really start to move, because Preed comes upon them and guess, like, I found these meddlesome kids snooping around the evil carnival or whatever. Like, we go full on Scooby-Doo.
What I found? 2 little birdies itchy to fly.
Yes, I suppose.
And we discover that it's a conspiracy involving Preed as well. There's a bit of a fist fight. Cool sort of muscular punches being exchanged between the two hunks, and they manage to fight their way free, escape off the ship onto the umbilical towards New Bangkok, shutting the door behind them. Just before the door shuts, Preed manages to get a few pot shots, one of which just blasts through Akima's chest. She got hit pretty good.
I mean, she goes down, crashing down.
When they go and they talk to the locals and like, oh, they're getting help for her. She's like, oh, she'll be fine. She just needs rest. She was shot.
Yeah. She was
That's
shot.
Not just like a rest and you'll get better thing.
I mean,
like,
this is
chunks of lung came out of her.
This is a little Asian woman goes like, no, she'd be fine. I make chicken soup. She just take rest. You go eat.
She's a vegetarian. Oh no, that's fine. I make lamb.
Yeah.
Because they arrive on New Bangkok, and it's a very different world than Kale is used to. Because people are just helping, right?
Well, they're other humans being friendly towards each other,
speaking. Oh, which language are they speaking? Bangkok is the capital of Thailand?
Thailand, yeah.
Thailand.
So Thai?
So, presumably, yeah.
What did you tell him?
I asked him to bring home liquor.
No, really, I don't need it.
Not for you, for boy.
Me?
He pass out soon. She'll be fine. She just needs rest. Don't worry.
Kale, in the meantime, has to explain to Goon and, I forgot her name. Stith. That Kale and Akima have just decided to leave and not even say goodbye. And he's very angry about it because, of course, they escaped. But he's trying not to let on to the other two, who are clearly not in on the conspiracy here.
Yeah, he's turning quite angry toward his crew, which Stith barely tolerates. But Goon is so sad that Kale and Akima didn't say goodbye.
Why they not say goodbye to Goon?
Even though we never see them bond. I actually kind of bought it. I kind of bought that they liked each other.
Kale, meanwhile, learns the importance of being human.
Again, this is the sort of, human supremacist manifesto. Was if it's just humans together, then everything's nice. See, all we need to do is just get rid of all of those aliens.
Yeah,
and just have our own little ethno-colony.
And hold up a bizarre, hyper-realistic, but also still kind of cartoonish photo that has bothered me since the very first time I watched it. I don't understand this photo.
I think the card it's like some sort of football card, baseball card, whatever it is, with the kid's dad on it.
Because he wanders through the colony, finds a football belonging to the young brother of a sister who is very protective and proud of her brother.
Here on the colony, most people gotta shut their eyes to see anything other than rusted spaceship hulls. Not my brother. Later.
Shows Kale a photo of their dad, their late dad, presumably, who is a footballer, and it's a curiously well rendered drawing of a photograph. It is weird.
I guess it's meant to look like a photograph, wanted to be instantly recognizable as a baseball card or a football card or something like that.
In my memory, it was an actual photograph. And then when I saw it here, I was like, oh no, it actually is drawn, just it's in a different style, so it stands out in a weird
I have that way. Whenever we see photographs in the animated series Star Wars Rebels, where everybody is CGI until it's a photo of someone and then they're a drawing.
That was something that I was thinking about when this came up. I was like, oh, we have the same feeling about
same sort of
in different ways here. Yeah.
Already our minds are becoming as one. While he's out exploring this drifter colony, which is made of welded together ship's hulls, Akima has apparently woken from her nap.
Yes.
Naps
are very healthy in this universe. I mean, it later happens with Goon as well.
I guess it counts as a long rest, and she's recovered enough hit points. It is basically Space D&D.
And he has spotted the ship, which apparently is just stuck there on the drifter colony, but it's easy enough to fix in a short montage, and yet still not being used by all these drifters. Seems odd. Maybe they just need the experience of a ship wronger to be able to get it.
I knew I'd get you on board. And the imagination, because I now finally get why this scene with the football kids was in there.
Mm.
All right, because the sister says that her brother has an indomitable imagination. Everybody else just sees rusted ship hulls, but not my brother. And then Kale goes, And he has his moment of inspiration, because where everybody else just sees rusted ship hulls, he sees the potential for a ship.
I mean, everybody cheers them along as they blast off. They go full throttle right in between the middle of the colony.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever heard of maneuvering thrusters in this universe?
No, they just, they fire the rockets on this craft. And also, did they pay for it? I mean, is everybody just... Weren't those somebody's living quarters?
That's what I mean. It's like the ship is like completely unused, apparently, but yet immediately salvageable in a short montage.
Yeah, so everybody's going to drop their full day's work and just do whatever Kale instructs them to do.
Presumably, he has told them about what they're going to do, that they're going to find the Titan and save humanity.
We had a whole scene about his butt crack being covered by a towel, and we couldn't have a rousing speech. Come on.
We're going to come back to this point at the end of the movie.
Or it's just the power of nu metal. That's just the power of...
So, off to the Andali Nebula, the ice rings of...
Yeah, that's the one.
That's what it says.
The Andali Nebula.
Nebula, the ice rings of Tiberian.
More cool.
Such a cool sequence.
Yeah,
I adore this sequence. The way that it's mirroring, and I love the sequence.
CGI.
I don't have words for this.
This was a revelation when I watched it, because this was during the era when science fiction, space opera cinema was transitioning to CGI, and just seeing it used to this effect, because that's something that you can't do so easily with models. Reflections. They're flying between these huge ice crystals, all of which have reflective surfaces, and it becomes this funhouse mirror maze where each ship, because, hey, the Valkyrie is hot on their tail.
How? The Valkyrie should be way ahead of them.
Oh, they were.
Yeah.
They got to the Tigrin sector and had no idea where the Titan would be among these.
Right, but Kale's hand map is actually allowing him to home in on it, so they
they're
get
going to quietly pursue them. Something that the other members of the crew don't fully understand when Corso orders them to, until he has to smack Goon around to stealth to follow them quietly.
Kale, I hail on communicator.
No hailing. Just follow them.
Okay, I follow, but I plot new route to safer quadrant. If
We're going to follow them. And we'll run silent.
Stealth mode engaged. But they spot them reflecting off in the crystals of the port bow.
It's so great. There's a cat and mouse game. And, okay, Kay, were you bored by this?
No, because this was visually more interesting, I suppose.
Than the sequence in the hydrogen trees. Okay, fair enough.
They
because this is another one of those set pieces that the plot exists to justify, right?
Yes. It felt more like a submarine movie where they were where two subs are trying to stalk each other, because there's also stuff going on the ships. There's crew interactions and people trying to outsmart the other.
Oh, that's brilliant. Because the only way that they have to really verify where the other ship actually is the heat bloom when they use their thrusters. So everybody's trying to sort of coast. Yeah, there's a moment of deception, which I'm not quite sure how it works. They come upon the Valkyrie and they say, "Oh no," says Akima, we can't move. They'll see us." And then Kale goes, "Maybe that's exactly what we want." And then it works out, I guess.
Yeah, full thrust. They manage to squeeze through a hole of a few big ice crystals which are crashing together, and they manage to give the Valkyrie the shake.
And through good fortune, I guess, they come upon...
No, they're following Kale's palm map. He's got basically now it's acting like a compass where it just basically points towards the Titan.
So why not just have it do that?
Maybe it only works on short range.
Okay, fine.
I just thought of a good name for his little map there. It's his palms up display.
I like that. So, Greg.
So if he's flying along with it, he's a palm pilot?
He's he's palming his pud, which is what a palm up display.
Oh,
Greg, you did this.
Oh no!
There goes our PG-13 rating.
So Kale follows his pud to his dad's garage. The Titan is encrusted in ice. Really kind of cool, because it's been hidden among these ice crystals, and apparently it generates enough gravity that they've sort of collided and encrusted it.
Yes, they managed to dock with, I don't know, it looks like a cantilever bridge, which seems a bit weird.
Somehow they make their way inside.
Coming on board the Titan, they find their way into the genetic databanks, which contain presumably every species recorded on Earth.
Tersiops truncatus off the top of my head.
Bottlenose dolphin.
Yeah, very good. There's a butterfly they found and a leopard. Yeah, it turns out...
They just kind of jumbled them together. It's like, I don't know, can you at least put them by genus?
Why are butterflies and leopards right next to each other?
Yeah.
What's the logic?
I mean, you could almost assume that it was looking at different like rows or something, like just kind of like scanning around. But yeah. I'm more just concerned by like they're all here. You looked at like 3 things.
True.
How many animals do you think were on? Did you just have like a children's book that just had like the three animals of Earth?
Yeah, bottlenose dolphins,
leopards, and one butterfly.
These butterflies. Well,
yeah,
you've got the land, sea, and air. What more do you need on a planet?
He finds the control console, which has his old toy that he made with his dad.
Yeah.
Which apparently his dad has fixed for him in the meantime.
He finds a little spire that
he liked it and he put a ring on it.
Very good. The German judges are not particularly generous, but it averaged it out to 7.5. Well done. But instead of activating the Titan, which...
It kind of does. I mean, the lights come on.
The lights come on and a hologram appears of his dad, who explains to him that, unfortunately, like the escape costs all the energy in the reserves, and so it doesn't work.
Your ring would have activated the transformation sequence, but the Titan's power cells were drained in the escape. They are unable to fuel the transformation. It is up to you to restore their power.
Okay, he knew that planet-destroying aliens wanted to destroy humans and would destroy and kill anyone in the way of finding the Titan.
Yeah.
So he put his son in the way of finding the Titan.
Yeah.
That's what he did. He knew that these genocidal aliens would kill any species to find the Titan, so he put the Gowl in front of the Titan?
Maybe he didn't have enough time to rekey the genetically encoded car keys that he needed. So, it's like there's only one person with the right genes, and that's his kid. So, sorry, boy, we don't have to...
No time to have another kid to...
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out how that change of command would go. Just like, it's like, okay, so in a case of emergency, you need to find a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
right. I know the ship as well as anyone else. Like, I helped you build it. I don't care. Find this 5-year-old.
Yeah, I mean,
and take his hand.
Yes, I'm just going to send him away with tech, and I'll come back and pick him up in a few days after I hide this, and then
What was the plan?
Meanwhile, the Valkyrie has docked as well. Pre tries to kill the other two, Goon and what's name?
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, because they're becoming a liability.
They're starting to ask questions.
Those two are becoming a problem. We need to take care of it.
Oh, I'm one step ahead of you.
He gives them a communicator, and then he uses that to try and blow them up, which is thwarted by Goon.
Yeah, Goon, one of the few people in the universe who recognizes a beeping bomb when he hears one, grabs it off her wrist and seems to be blown up.
You can see him flying back in.
Traumatizes a 6-year-old me, because I believe this was my first experience with the age-old trope of, you think someone's dead, and then surprise, Goon comes back.
Oh wow!
But like I just remember in the moment, just like, wait, what? You can't kill a mate. This isn't how this works. Like I just remember as a kid just being like indignant over this, like indignant and sad. I was like, no, this is not good.
You wrestled your cherumbles into rages, ally.
Yes.
Deep Voyager cut for my nerds out there.
Oh dear. Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful scene. He's sweet as Stith uncovers him under the rubble, and he says that
he's going to go to sleep. Yeah.
Because he's so sleepy, and he has a little nap, but he's only taking a short rest and recovering the 2 hit points that he needs to save him from.
He's rolling his hit die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Preed managed, meanwhile, backstabs Corso.
Why? I don't know.
No, because he just apparently he got a good deal from the Drej as well.
If you relieve yourself of your firearm.
Backstabbing.
Well, I learned from the best. But it wasn't just the money the Drej were offering. It was the health plan that came with it. They'd let me live, provided I kill all of you before they get here.
I understand the Drej hedging their bets, hedging their dredge.
Dredging their heads. But, his victory is of short note because everybody starts fighting him, and Corso just literally snaps his neck, and that's the other other time that a non-energy person gets killed in this movie, I believe. Aside from all the Gaul who valiantly gave their lives to.
How did little Greg feel about one of the main characters having his neck twisted and thrown down the stairs?
You know, I don't remember. I remember when it occurred to me exactly what happened. Like when I got a little older and I rewatched it, I was like, oh. I watched it at 6? Oh.
I did not notice that, yeah.
It's pretty hardcore, yeah.
Fight it out amongst themselves, go flying over the edge. We've got a bit of Bespin moment there, I would say.
Which one do you think Cole is?
Kale.
Oh, Kale. Now it's Kale.
Yes.
Okay, see, this is why I ask. You act so indignant.
I've got Corso right now, so now I'm just getting Cole and Kale mistaken.
You're like an overfull glass. Any drop of knowledge will just something else has to slosh over the side. Okay, yeah, they both go over the side onto like a catwalk that it crashes and it dangles and Kale actually comes down and tries to save Corso.
Yes, but hands slip through, he falls down. Fortunately, he can catch himself on a cable, but we have not seen the last of him yet. Ho ho.
No, because
how did his arms not just like rip off?
Yeah, I know. Why did that cable just not slice through his distal phalangeal meridian? Nailed it in one. I was hoping it was in there because the imaginative Kale has realized the solution to the problem.
Yes, we can reverse the flow of the polarity and then suck up the
dredge. We can genocide them.
Yes.
To attain our goals, which is, I'm starting to think more and more that was the purpose of the Titan.
Ooh.
Anyway, I mean, they can charge it once on Earth with the sun, but then you make one planet. You can't just make one planet. So then you just go to the next Drej city ship and turn that into a planet, and then the next one. And then instead of Drej, you'll have Earth human planets. That'll be nice.
Yeah, but I mean, the Drej don't seem to be particularly nice anyway. So, anyway, the Drej are starting to attack while Kale goes out on a spaceship to close the circuit breakers.
Yeah, all of this hedges on 3 circuit breakers being a huge breakers being flipped. One of them doesn't flip very well.
Can you and Stiff cover me? I just need a little time.
How much time?
A few hours.
What can you do in a few minutes?
Akima and Stith, they man the point defense cannons. They manage to hold their own against this swarm of Drej stingers for a little bit. But the Queen very wisely ordered her minions to first disarm the human ship.
Yep.
So they target all the cannons.
And once they shoot out all the cannons, they withdraw.
Yeah.
Bring on the big gun.
All seems lost when all the cannons are gone and Kale is cornered and a ship approaches.
And gets blasted out of the sky by Corso with a big FG.
No, it's Goon.
I finished my nap.
Starts taking out, but yes, then also Corso has found a big FG.
So we just know that naps are very healing in this universe.
Apparently, you restore a lot of health points.
Yeah, Akima gets much better after a nap. Goon gets much better after a nap. Napping is the way out, man.
I mean, maybe the Cucaracha had a wee nap after he got blasted, and he was fine again.
And he just mopped up his goo together, put his dentures back in the pot, and then after a while, he just crawls back out. Yeah.
And probably, hey, Greg, probably Preed's just having a nap.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'll go back in time and just tell my 6-year-old self that.
His vertebrae are just going to realign. He's going to see a chiropractor and it'll be fine.
Only dreams.
But they don't dream.
The Krenians don't dream.
Oh, yeah, they don't. You're
Krenians
right.
don't dream. Damn it, that's right. They can't nap. That's why he's dead. You've solved it. So all seems very dire because even as he gets access to this giant breaker, he still can't flip it, and he has to get back to the control panel because he has to put
Activate
the ring.
Yeah.
For some reason, he kept the ring with him as he left the control panel, like he probably control room.
Yeah,
didn't really think it through. But Corso is there, and Corso has now been inspired by Kale's actions.
Yes.
But the breaker, Kale, she's preparing to fire. You can't stay out here. I'll take care of it. Go on. Get out of here.
Very masculine, sort of chest grinding against one another until, he does sacrifice his life.
He does.
He wedges his weapon and himself between the two prongs of the breaker, completing the circuit just as Kale rushes, like he overdrives the elevator to make it to the control center faster.
Gratuitous explosion of a metal elevator at the end of its cable car.
OSHA guidelines are there for a reason.
Yes.
An eternal obsession because, in the meantime, the Independence Day-like weapon of the Drej mothership has targeted the Titan. But just before it can fire, Kale manages to, once again...
reverse the polarity.
Slip his ring over the control, and the polarity is reversed. The blue energy becomes... yellow energy that is sucked in. It's not entirely clear what happens.
It gets sucked in. It's which is weird because first the blue energy goes down to the Titan, then the yellow energy goes back up to the Drej ship, and then suddenly it just transforms the blue Drej into yellow gold, and which all gets sucked back towards the Titan.
Which is a nice euphemism for the genocide that is genuinely happening here.
I mean, we still don't know if it's genocide or if they're just destroying a carrier group,
I mean...
Is this all the Drej? Are there other Drej? I mean...
But they're killing them because they're
totally.
Drej.
Yes.
Right? Well, okay. Arguments for self-defense can also be made.
They shot first. That's fairly obvious.
Yep.
The Titan powers up, extrudes 3 huge spokes which set the entire
the rings
ice clouds
of Tigrin,
spinning.
It sort of looks like a galaxy all spiraling in together.
So they completely destroyed the tourist economy based on visiting these beautiful rings by sucking them all into a planet for human habitation.
Yeah. Okay, so there's more cynical readings.
When I was looking at the sequence again, I just kept on thinking, wait a second, planets take millions of hundreds of millions of years to form. It's cool, okay, you started the formation of a planet. Come back in 140 million years, something like that, to form a planet. That's
maybe they just put an awful lot of extra energy into speed up the whole process.
I mean, it's basically the Genesis device, right? This is Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan's Genesis device, and that was also pretty brisk. So they're probably just using the same technology.
Titan comes flying out as the planet starts to coalesce, and we can see the ice raining down on this newly formed planet and turning it into a beautiful place which already has geological features and
rain
and sunlight
in the form of the Photoshop lens flare filter that I recognize immediately.
A few god rays coming down.
Yeah, while they stand on a CGI landscape that looks like it was rendered in Bryce 3D, which...
I see what you mean.
90s kids know what I'm talking about. And Kale and Akima stand here looking out over the planet and joking about what they're going to call it.
Bob.
Planet Bob. Well, that's what Kale wants to call it.
You can't call a planet Bob.
Oh, so you're the boss now? You're the king of Bob?
Yeah. I mean, he made it, and at least with the help of his dad's place. Okay, and this is where I come to the point that I'm assuming that they told the drifter colony ships what they were going to do in order to get them to give them that ship, because as soon as Planet Bob is formed, the drifter colony bums are starting to appear. They're not invited or anything, and you're just this is our planet now. So that's the only reason I can assume that they told them what they were going to do, and therefore they were gifted the ship. Because otherwise, these scoundrels are just showing up and go hey, new planet, let's go there.
Let's do what we always do with planets and just strip mine it.
Take it from the natives,
and build technologies that, not a moment's reflection on all the many lives and the many heroic aliens that sacrificed themselves to help them achieve this. But no, there's just a flirty little come-down moment as the refugee ships, apparently the New Bangkok, unwelded itself, and everybody flew their craft to the planet, to their new home. The last people that we see are the soccer siblings.
Humans have a new planet, Bob. Or New Earth, some people want to call it.
Planet Bob.
Would this follow like Futurama rules where it'd be new Bangkok?
Yes, I would think so.
Yeah. Good. That's all I wanted.
Oh yes, and this is where we see the title that explains the year. Yeah, it's 3044 AD or 16 AE or 1 AB.
Yes, after Bob.
Yes, that was my little joke to end on. And thus we conclude Titan AE.
Oh.
Now, Greg, on this podcast that you have wormholed into, we have a tradition of Willies and Woodies.
She gives me a Woody.
She gives you the Willies.
Where Willies are things that...
Give you the Willies.
Yeah, and Woodies are... Well, that help keep your towel up if you're thus equipped.
Okay, so I think that for me, the CG textures don't always age super great. There's times where I'm looking at it, like, okay, that's harder to look at, and like there's like one texture in the entirety of the interior of the Valkyrie, and it's like, okay, that looks flat.
I mean,
like,
those were the days, right?
Yeah.
Like the early days.
I understand that the timing and everything, which is like, that doesn't hold up great.
I mean, we have that with the Star Wars prequels as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of it was completely photorealistic yet. It was still, like, it was amazing that it was there. And of course, because of the various outsourcing, some sequences just look better than others. Like, Planet Bob was probably the worst. Probably, like, the least...
Seems like a shame to end with that.
All right, so if the bad CGI is your Willy, what's your Woody?
You know, I just insulted the CGI, so I will compliment the CGI and just the entirety of the Wake Angel sequence.
Yes,
I thought about like the Drej like striker things because they're a really cool design, and I just am all about spaceship design and stuff like that. But I think about the Wake Angel sequence frequently, just like throughout my life.
To this day.
Oh yeah.
And you imagine like being at the controls and having an encouraging parental figure, because it, like, for the target audience of young adult males, that is a targeted scene.
Yeah. That sequence has held up. I still feel like that. It still looks really, really good.
Oh, it looks gorgeous.
I guess. Ooh, yeah. The casual murder of the cucaracha. That one was my Willy. That one really. Ugh.
I mean, it's you have to show that the Drej are evil. I mean, if you don't quite already know that at this point, then you have to show that they are still evil and that they're just callous towards everybody. But yeah, it's such a weird moment because it's in the movie. It's coded cartoonish and comical, and it's just like, if you think about it, it's like, they just like shot the guy in cold blood.
Sort of have that same issue with the treatment of droids in Star Wars, who are individuals with very limited agency over their life and whose demise is often played for comedy as well in the same way.
All right, and your Woody?
Do you even need to ask?
Well, the towel scene, yes.
The towel scene, yes. And all the towel gifs that I now finally have had an excuse to make. And I can bless the internet with the good kale-buttered towel.
All right. Well, my Willy goes to the gravitational impossibility of the broken moon of Sasharin.
Yeah,
and my Woody definitely goes to the soundtrack.
I'm in over my head.
I think Cosmic Castaway is my favorite, although It's My Turn to Fly is also very high up there.
And then we come to the titling of the episode.
No.
The naming of the episode.
Episode Bob.
There is no way that what Cosmic Castaway.
Okay, right? No, okay.
Can I get a vote on that? Because it's great. It's like, because that could also be John Crichton, right?
Yes.
He's a Cosmic Castaway.
And Greg as president.
And Greg, yes, you are our very own Cosmic Castaway.
So yes, okay, I agree.
I don't know. Episode Bob is kind of fantastic.
Oh my god! Well, Greg, it's your turn to fly.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun to do, and
we absolutely loved having you over. If anybody would like to hear more of Greg's antics, how can they follow you through the wormhole to discover the rest of the Gregverse?
So I can be found at GH_cosplay on Twitter and Instagram, or you can listen to Cocky complain about droid rights on a Rebel Air Pod, Twitter and Instagram, or just anywhere you get your podcast, and that is Air with
an H. No, you're never taking that away from me. I have one catchphrase on our dumb podcast, and I will have it, Greg. You know. And that was the story so far, Farscape. Okay, so next week we're going back to Farscape. We're going to wave goodbye to our friend Greg and delve back into the final episode of Season 2, starting with...
Episode 219, in which Ocean's 11 has got nothing on this. A foolhardy plan to rob a bank goes awry when a recurring enemy throws a monkey wrench into the crew's plans. Featuring black latex BDSM blue girls? Wow.
Yep.
A chip-tacular twist and the bad kind of bed bugs. Wow.
Thank you, Wookie. Really, Wookie's back, baby. That's Season 2, Episode 19, A Not So Simple Plan. And, I'm so looking forward to it. We're at So Farscape on Facebook and Twitter. If you want to, submit your own fantastic synopsis for an upcoming episode, go to sofarscape.com/submit. And if you want to chip in, help us keep the lights on here at So Farscape Studios. That's sofarscape.com/support. I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay.
I'm Greg.
So Farscape, so good.
Farscape, so good.
He'll catch up.
Yeah.